Hi Tubies, here's Alexandra and welcome to another video. Today's topic is heat, heated metal and glowing armor. Like here, this lava cast as a Stormcast Eternal, uh, glowing hot, like he's just smashed down from the heavens and is still glowing hot from the lightning. And yeah, actually, this is not an invention from me. I found this color scheme on Instagram by a guy called Moonstar Minis, and I simply reverse engineered his paint scheme. And well, let's see how this is painted. You can use that obviously for Stormcast Eternals, but also for 40k miniatures, like for example the Legion of the Damned. So we start off with a white primed miniature like this one, and then we need to paint it in yellow. Use whatever yellow paint you have. You can apply it with an airbrush, with a brush, whatever you prefer. I will just use here the good old contrast paint Imperial Fist. There we have our paint pot holder so I don't knock it accidentally over, and then we simply apply the paint over the entire miniature, just like that. So this takes a little while, and after this is dry and completely painted, I'll be back. So there we have him now in all its yellow shining beauty. And let me explain to you what I'm going to do. So normally when you paint a miniature, you start with dark colors, and then step by step you apply more bright colors in even more small areas, and so therefore highlight a miniature. In this case, we are going to reverse that theory. So we start with a bright color in all the recesses with a bright yellow now, and we will now step by step paint on more and more dark colors. So we start with an orange, then go over red, dark red, black. So that's the basic theory, and let's start. So we mix up a nice bright yellow, bright orange. So tiny little dab of red, and then we take our brightest yellow that we can find, and we'll mix a nice vibrant orange, just like that. So I'm going to dry brush the entire miniature now, and the reason being is it's much more easy to dry brush than to hand paint now every single panel. And the only thing that should remain yellow are the recesses, where the main glow will be. And we can achieve that pretty quick with a dry brush here. So this is the step that will take the longest, because we are painting the most amount of surface area right now. But don't be afraid. And keep in mind the amount of paint you have on your brush. I'm relatively experienced in my brush control and how to know how much paint is on the bristles. But if you are unsure about that, you can take your brush, load it with paint, and then test it on a piece of paper, for example here, or some people paint their nails or their hands or whatever. I prefer to paint other surfaces other than myself for these testing purposes. So this technique definitely works best with miniatures that have a lot of surfaces, like different elevations in surfaces. Like here, for example, the Stormcasts have a nice armor with lots of rivets and recesses and little overlapping plates and stuff like that. So it works really well for them. For Space Marines, it might work if the Space Marine is detailed enough. If there are lots of details added to the miniature, well, with a more recent detail creep in the miniatures from Games Workshop, that's less and less a problem. But the standard plain Space Marine Intercessor might not work that well with this method here. But for Stormcasts, this is perfect. And it works with both Stormcast versions, the old ones like this one here, or the new with Thunderstrike armor variant. So, for example, the guy on Instagram that I have seen use this painting method previously, he used it on Thunderstrike Shield Brethren. So the equivalent to these retributors here. So that's first layer done. Now we take pure red, and don't worry if you don't hit every single angle. For example, there I have left a big chunk of white still, red are still there, but we can tackle that now. For example, it doesn't matter too much. So we're going now lighter with the red. We want some of the orange to stay behind. Very, very gently. 2 hairs and some air, like the good old Bob Ross used to say. Barely touching. Very gently. So keep in mind to also paint the underside. We are not using any light painting here like normal paint jobs. So we don't have dark areas on the lower parts of the miniature, like if you would paint it in a zenithal highlight fashion. So keep that in mind. But overall, he starts to look like he's really glowing. So the next stage will be a really, really dark red. So this here is was previously a Wild Rider red, and I just added black to it. And it's a really, really dark red. It's not sold by GW, so you have to mix your own. So let's go over it again. And now we make this a little bit more precise. We want to tackle all the really, really raised edges, raised areas that are basically cooled off. So sorry when I'm painting a little bit outside of the camera angle. It's hard to paint with the camera directly in front of the face. So my face is more here, so this would be if I directly look at the miniature, but I have to paint like that. So sorry about that when the miniature sometimes slips out of the visual range. So it's totally up to you how dark you want to make the miniature, or how still bright and glowing you want him. So for example, my previous version is way darker right now. See? So you could totally stop at any moment if you think, yeah, that is the right amount of glow effect that I want him to have. If not, you can keep going. Make him darker and darker. So for example here, I just grabbed paint directly from the wet palette, and I'm using this moment of having a little bit more paint on the brush to cover up here this bigger sections of the miniature. And then I'm starting to dry brush again when the amount of paint on the bristles is dwindling. So, on the side there, needs a little bit, not too much. There we go. Okay, and now we go for black and mix that in with the red to make a really almost black paint. Give it a good rub on the paper towel, and we are hitting all the really far away details, like here the edges of the hammer. So, and now I'm quickly brushing over here the parchment, like this is burnt paper. And there we have him now in all its glory. The only thing left to do is, well, making the base. And, well, your glowing Stormcast is good to go. I hope you like this painting tutorial. It's a very, very rough tutorial, definitely. But, well, you can totally go for this in a more standard fashion with a very, very precise paint application to make it look a little bit more cohesive, maybe. But this is definitely a very, very fast method to paint Stormcast Eternals. And I hope you like this. And, well, we see us in the next video. You're Alexandra. Bye.